Welcome back. In this video, we will discuss about functions. Functions are a very important part in any programming language because you need to minimize and simplify your code. In order to do that, you need to use functions. There are two types of functions in any programming language. The first one is built-in functions and the second one is user-defined functions. As the name says, built-in functions are already available with the language, and user-defined functions are the one that the user create to simplify their work and minimize the code. Programming language functions are very similar to the mathematical functions. For example, if we go into algebra, then we may find functions like f of x is equal to x to the power 2 plus x to 2x plus 1. So we know that when x is equal to 1, then the value of function f of x, or we can say f of 1, is equal to 4. Similarly, when the value of x is 2, then this value becomes 9. It is one variable function, and if we go with two variables like x, y, and then we say 2x plus 3y, it is a linear two variable function. And we can say if f x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 2, then the value of function will be 2 plus 6, it will be 8. So the programming functions are also very similar to this, that we give some input to the function and it gives the output corresponding to that input. Let's take some example, like in our previous videos we have already used that function str to upper, which takes some string and convert it into a string with uppercase letters. Let's see, if I have a string text and then we need to put this block in comments, otherwise it will throw an error. So we have taken a string which is in lower letters and then we converted using a function the string to uppercase letters. It was an example of a PHP built-in functions. Like this, PHP language has more than 1000 functions and we can choose them according to our situation. But how do we find what are these functions? So we need to see the documentation of PHP language, and there is an official website for PHP, that is php.net, and we can find all the functions, list of all the functions which we can use in PHP language. So let's find this function that we have already used, str to upper. Str to upper, which we can use in PHP 4, 5 and 7, make a string uppercase. It takes an input as string and returns the output as string. So when we are going to use a function, we need to understand this description, this thing that we are seeing. It is the syntax of the function. So in this case, the name of the function is this one, the first word that we see here, it is the name of the function. The inputs we can provide is available in this brackets, and the output type is given after this colon. It says that the str to upper function will take a string as an input and give a string as an output with all the letters with uppercase. And the other ones are user defined function. We can create user defined functions according to our needs, and the syntax of the user defined function is function, function name, list of inputs, and block of code, and then at the end of it a return statement. Something like that. So it is a kind of a syntax for creating a function. So let's do an exercise. We will try to make a user defined function, and we will use built-in functions in that user defined function and see how it works. So I want to make a function that returns the combinations of a coin tossed. So the function will be coin combination and it will take the number of times a coin is tossed, and at the end of it will return total number of combinations. So in order to get that result, we need to provide a block of code here. So here I will give you a step-to-step guide, step-by-step guide to build this function. So let's start with coin, single coin combinations, that is H for head and T for tail. So there may be three cases for the value of number. The first one is the number is a positive integer and it is greater than 0. The second case may be the number is 0, and the third case may be it is a negative integer. So first thing we need to do is visualize how this function is going to work. So I have an idea that it will start with H and T, and according to the value of the number after each iteration this combination will increase like this, and then in the next iteration it will become like this. Sorry. And so on. So I need to set a default value for this count variable that I'm going to use same as this. And here I'm trying to make a loop where this will change after each iteration. So I will put a while statement here, while the number is greater than 1. So what I'm trying to do here is that if the value of number is 1 or less than 1, then it will go with the default value of H and T only, otherwise it will give the complete combination. So that's why I have choose this number to be greater than 1. For example, if the value of number is 1, then it will return this value, which is totally acceptable. And for other cases, when the value of number is more than 1, greater than 1, then we need to write the code in this while block. So what I want to do here is that the value of coin will remain same after each iteration, but the value of comb, sorry, it is comb because it is comb for combination, so value of comb will change after each iteration. For example, at the initial condition it will be ht, in the next condition it will be hh, th, ht, tt. So I'm getting this idea that I need to make a nested loop here with com variable and coin variable. So I will go with the coin variable first. For each coin as I, and then in the next I will go with comp as j, at this position if I concatenate j into I, then I will get the combination of h, h, ht, th and tt. And after each iteration, this iteration, I want to update the value of the comp variable. So in this part it will remain as it was in at the output of the last iteration. So we need to make a temporary variable here, temporary array, and then after each iteration we will replace this temporary array, sorry, we will replace the actual comp variable with this temp variable. And the next thing we want to do is decrement the value of number so that it does not go into infinite loop. And here I need to push this value into this temp variable. So what I'm gonna do is I will find a built-in function to push an element into an array. So I will go to this website and then I will type array push. So there is a function available, that is array push. It takes the first argument, first input as an array, and the next input can be a mixed type, means it can be of any data type, and it will return int as an output, so we can try to read more description and see what it is actually trying to say. Array push treats array as a stack and pushes the past variable onto the end of array. The length of array increases by the number of variable pushed, has the same effect as this. So we can use this statement instead of this, but I want to demonstrate how the function works, so I will go for this. And you can see the parameters, the input array and the value to push onto the end of the array. There are two parameters, and the return value returns the number of elements in the array. So if we want to know the number of elements, total number of elements after each push, then we can also use this function. And here are some examples also available. We can use this function like this. Here it is pushing two elements at the same time. So let's try to use this function. I can copy this or I can type this. array push, and the array we want here is temp, and then we will use this as input, second input, which is the value to be pushed inside the array, and then we will terminate this line with semicolon. So we have created this function. So let's see if it is executing fine. No, there is some error. Okay, so we need to either delete this or comment this out so that it gives no error. Yeah, there is no problem in executing. So after a function is declared and defined, we can use this. So in this function, the function name, the first one is function name, and the second thing is number of arguments. So I will go with the 3. I want to give number of toss equal to 3, and then we know that it will return an array of combinations. So we cannot echo this because it will be an array. So we will use print underscore r to see the results, and let's see how this works. Yes, we get total 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 combinations, and we know that when we toss a coin 3 times we get total 8 combinations. So print r is also a built-in function, and this coin combination is a user-defined function that we have just defined. So this was our last segment in the PHP introduction section. You may find that we have not covered all the topics in PHP introductions because when we will start working on Code Igniter, we will cover all these things, all the small details that we should have covered earlier, but there is no worry that we will cover all these things in Code Igniter section. Thank you very much.